Hello again, this is Will Luden, your host with Take 10 with Will Luden, where we talk about how we improve our lives and then consequently, the lives of our communities and the nation. And we can always make good starts there by subscribing and encourage others to subscribe with Take 10 with Will Luden. And today's topic is how to get good government. How to get good government. The formula. And together, very much together, we are at episode 404. Question: how do we get a government of thoughtful, dedicated public servants committed to the people and the nation? Candidates and office holders who do deep dive research before taking a position and are willing to learn from those with opposing opinions. Office holders committed to the people and the nation, not to themselves. Answer. Here's the answer. Here's the formula. We need to be thoughtful, dedicated citizens and voters. Voters who do deep dive research before taking a position and are willing to learn from those with opposing opinions. Voters who are committed to others and the nation, not to themselves. And for those of you who are enjoying this on YouTube, you'll see a picture of a young President Kennedy walking with his daughter Carolyn, who's pushing a stroller with a doll in it. And here's the quote: "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our responsibility for the future." John F. Kennedy. If we're going to get the candidates and office holders the nation needs, we must be the voters the nation needs. The people we elect will be no better than the electorate that chose them. The people we elect will be no better than the electorate that chose them. If we are lazy, biased echo chamber voters, we will get lazy, biased echo chamber politicians. The computer world calls this GIGO: garbage in, garbage out. That is the subject of today's short form episode. With every right or privilege, this is so key, and stay with me on this one. With every right or privilege comes an equal or greater responsibility. Do you agree? I hope so. It's fundamental. This principle is pivotal to success in our lives as individuals and to achieve success as a society, as a nation. Now let's take a whack at applying this principle. We're all allowed free speech by the First Amendment to the Constitution. I'm going to read it because there may be some surprises in here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for the redress of grievances. There's 5 freedoms there: freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and the freedom to seek redress from the government for our grievances. And we must exercise responsibility in how we use these rights. For example, the SCOTUS abortion ruling discussion needs to be grounded in science and law, asking 4 questions. What is the role of SCOTUS? What is the role of the Supreme Court? Is abortion covered in the Constitution? When does life start? When is it appropriate for the government to sanction the taking of a life? The point I'm making here is not that I am pushing a specific answer to any of these questions. I have my answers. I've done my research. I have my answers. What I'm pushing here is that each one of us needs to do deep dive research into each one of these questions and have thoughtful, well-researched answers that we're able to explain. We have the right to scream things like, "I am not your baby machine," or in one direction, or "baby killer" in the other. But that's exercising our right to free speech. But it's not matching that right with the equal or greater responsibility to be well researched, to be civil, to understand as well as to be understood. All of the screaming that I see and holding up signs that, even without screaming, holding up signs that say things like that, all that does is deepen the divisions. It doesn't solve anything. I'm urging us all to think about how we handle our free speech right and do research, deep dive research, understand as well as be understood. By now, you may know that I'm not a fan of get out the vote. I am a fan of having all thoughtful, careful voters show up. Thoughtful, careful voters, as we're defining them now, having multiple ways to vote in multiple days. And that's true everywhere. In every state in the union, all voters have multiple days and multiple ways to vote. Plenty of opportunities for anybody who's even slightly interested in voting. Before anyone votes, and that's the right that is the cornerstone of any democracy. They need to know at least some bedrock facts about the United States and its history, and more than just the party affiliation of the candidates. And we must all be responsible. We have a right to vote, and we have to be, this is one of those equal or greater responsibilities attendant to that right. It's not just that we qualify to vote, but we have to step up and be responsible about how we vote, how we think through our vote. Anyone who wants to become a naturalized citizen must pass a 10-word written test. It's extracted from 100 questions. There's 10 questions randomly extracted from the 100, and you've got to get 6 out of 10 right, 60%. It's a passing grade. It wasn't when I was in school, but it's a passing grade. Very few of today's voters could get 60%. I'm guessing most of them couldn't get 3 out of 10. And why is that okay? Here are some examples of questions on the test. We elect a president for how many years? In what month do we vote for president? What is the name of the president of the United States? What is the name of the vice president of the United States? If a president can no longer serve, who becomes the president? And here's the toughest hardball questions, toughest 5 out of the 100. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? And that's a really interesting one because lots and lots of people have very strong opinions, one way or the other, about some of the recent decisions of the Supreme Court. I'll bet you 20% of those people at most could tell you who the Chief Justice is. Who was the president during World War II? What is the rule of law? That doesn't seem all that hard. Who was the president during the Great Depression and World War II? Name one of the 2 longest rivers in the United States. That's one of the 5 toughest questions. As part of being qualified to vote, what is wrong with asking voters to get 6 out of 10 questions like that correct? 6 out of 10 questions randomly selected from the 100 and require a new test every 4 years, kind of like renewing a driver's license. It is completely irrational to expect that casual, mostly uninformed voters will ever give us the leadership we need. Remember, the leadership is going to reflect the electorate. In addition to being irrational, it just ain't going to happen. Those voters will be say it with me. Those voters, say it for me. Those voters will be manipulated and led around by the nose by the political forces in America. The political class will always be in charge and will always put their needs first. We need the people to be in charge, and we, the people, must work hard to be prepared, well-informed voters. We're never going to make that into law. So how do we affect the change? How do we get the informed voters who could get 6 out of 10 on a simple test right? Voter integrity. Each and every voter must hold themselves to a standard. And while holding themselves, hold each other. We hold each other accountable. As always, it is up to us to make our democracy succeed or fail. As of now, we're failing. We're getting very sloppy as voters, and the leadership that I'm seeing from both parties is wanting. We're failing, but it's up to us to fix it. If we want better candidates and better office holders, we need to be much better voters. One of my favorite cartoons, long gone, is Pogo, written by Walt Kelly. And his principal character Pogo was a swamp possum. And one of his favorite sayings, and if you're enjoying this on YouTube, you'll see it. One of the favorite sayings is, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." He's right. The only real enemy we have is us. We have met the enemy, and he is us. We're going to wrap around to the beginning of this because it's very important to sort of finish where we started. Question: how do we get a government of thoughtful, dedicated public servants committed to the people and the nation, candidates and office holders who do deep dive research before taking a position and are willing to learn from those with opposing opinions? Office holders committed to the people and the nation, not to themselves. Answer: we need to be thoughtful, dedicated citizens and voters. Voters who do deep dive research before taking a position and are willing to learn from those with opposing opinions. Voters who are committed to others and the nation, not to themselves. We all have the responsibility to be very well informed voters. And speaking of personal responsibility, that responsibility does not stand alone. The two main tenets of Take 10 with Will Luden are: number one, personal responsibility. Take it, teach it, and two, be your brother's keeper. The answer to the age-old question, am I my brother's keeper, is a resounding, unequivocal yes. Absolutely. We all are. You are, I am, we all are. So where do you stand on these issues and the other issues that you know are important? And what are you going to do about those issues? Because remember, it doesn't matter where you stand if you're not going to do anything. And you can start taking effective, positive action today. Subscribe. Encourage others to subscribe with you. If you're enjoying this on YouTube, hit that like button. Leave us a good review anywhere you are enjoying this. And remember, as always, whatever you do, whatever we do, do it in love. Without love, everything is empty. This is Will Luden. Talk to you next time.
You've been listening to Take 10 with Will Luden. If you've enjoyed the stimulating, passionate, and relentless reasoning, we encourage you to get out there and do something. Follow Will Luden and learn more at willluden.com.